Hey guys, Mr. Enyart here. Today we're going to be doing lesson 21 from module 4, topic F in Engage New York / Eureka Math. I'm going to be talking about evaluating multiplication and addition sentences given from tables, word problems, and how to also include variables. So stick around. Hope you enjoy. Let's do some math.
Mr. Enyart is here to help.
Let's go.
So let's say we have a restaurant and they have square tables, and each table only fits one chair along its side. So you can kind of visualize this if you are using your visualization schools, but if not, it's always worthwhile to draw. So you can see they even gave you some squares. So if this is one square table and there's one seat on each side, how many seats would that be? Yep, that would be 4 seats. So what if we had 2 tables and it looks like they are going to be pushed side by side because it does say rectangular tables. So if we have these square tables put together to make rectangular tables, we'd have 1 seat here, 1 here. There's 3, 4, 5. Looks like there's going to be 6. So let's look at the third one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Interesting. And let's go to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So maybe you're noticing a pattern here, but notice down below it says, are there any other ways to think about solutions to this problem? What we want to do is see if maybe there is an equation or a formula that will work every time, no matter how many square tables there are, 5, 50, 200, or an unknown amount. We can easily figure out the number of seats at the table. So at this point, I'd encourage you to pause the video and see if you can figure out what's happening in our pictures as we're growing from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 square tables put together. What do you notice about the numbers and their connection to the numbers of seats at the table and their connection to the number of square tables, as well as the ends and we'll call these the long sides and the short sides? What do you notice? Go ahead and pause the video. So what I noticed is that with 1, it's just times 4, right? Because there's 1 per side. But then when I get to 2, it's not times 4, right? So times 4 doesn't work. 2 times 4 is not 6. So if you thought first, okay, well 1 to 4 is times 4. That doesn't work. And if you thought maybe it's plus 3, right? 1 plus 3 is 4. But is 2 plus 3 6? So whenever we come up with these theories, they're always great to think about. There's nothing wrong with saying that, but then you do need to go and check and experiment. And times 4 doesn't work, plus 3 doesn't work, so there must be something else happening. Well, I noticed that with 2, I would have 2 on the long side, and then 1 on each other side, which would be another 2. And here with 3, this is 3 tables, I have 1, 2, 3. On each long side, so 2 sets of the 3, and then I just add the 2 end tables. And then with 4, I also add 4 on the long side, and then 2 sets of 4, and then just another 2 on the ends. So do you think that's going to work with 5? Let's try it before we actually count them. Let's say we're going to do 2 sets of the 5. And then we need to add 2. Well, let's solve that. What is 2 times 5? Okay, so that's 10. And then plus 2 should be what? Very good, 12. So theoretically, I should have 12 here if my formula worked. Okay, if my pattern that I'm seeing worked. So now let's go and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hey, it worked. So we notice that whenever we're putting the square tables together, whatever our number of tables are is how many there will be on one side and the other, so therefore there'll be 2 sets of that number, and then we always have to add the 2 at the end. So let's see if that works with 50, 200, and t. What would those formulas look like? Go ahead and pause the video and write them down. Okay, so let's do the 50, right? We'd have 2 sets of 50, right? So 2 times 50. We can put that in parentheses if we want. We don't have to because we will be doing it first no matter what. And then we're just going to add the 2. Okay, for 200, we're going to do 2 times 200, right? Because the top and the bottom. And then we have to add the 2 end tables. And then what about for t? An unknown amount. Well, aren't we just always doubling, right? We're always doubling the number of square tables. So it would just be 2t. And then we add 2. I think that looks pretty good. So let's solve for this one. So 2 times 50 is 100. 100 plus 2 is 102. Solve for this one. 2 times 200 is 400, plus 2 is 402. And now 2t plus 2, this is as solved as it can get. Now, we don't know what t is. What we do know is that this formula will tell us the number of seats based on t number of square tables, or an unknown number. On a side note, I thought this one was pretty funny. It's impractical to make a model of pushing 50 tables together to make a long rectangle. It's impractical to make that in general. But if we did have a rectangle that long, we'd be able to still use this formula. I mean, I wouldn't put 50 together. I'd probably, start making maybe rows of 2 and maybe go to 10, and that'd be the max or something. I don't know. But 50 definitely, and 200, no way. We're not going to make one row of 200 squares. Come on now. All right, so let's do one more together. So we already did this, but now we're going to determine the expression that describes the cost of P pizzas delivered, this amount of pizzas delivered. So Pizza Queen has a special offer on lunch pizzas, $4 each. They charge $2 to deliver, regardless of how many pizzas are ordered. So no matter how many of these are, we're going to be adding 2 to it, right? So determining the cost of various numbers of pizzas using this chart by finding the cost in dollars based on how many are delivered. So obviously with one pizza, right, that'd be $4 plus the 2. So the total cost is going to be $6. Now I don't really need that dollar sign because I do already have it labeled up top there. So I'm just going to write $6. All right, now what about 2? Okay, so we'd have 2 4s. It's 8 plus 2, $10. This would be very helpful in organizing the Super Bowl party or the World Series party or any kind of birthday party in general. This is important information. So how can we write formulas? Let's write a formula for this. What are we doing to each pizza? How much is each pizza? Okay, so the number of pizzas delivered, right? The number of pizzas delivered is always multiplied by the cost of each pizza, which is $4. And then we have to add to it $2, right? So theoretically, if we're going to use P for pizza, we're doing 4P plus 2. That's our formula right there, 4P plus 2. And P stands for the number of pizzas being delivered. So with 3, we just plug that in to our N in this one, or P in this one. These are both equivalent equations. So 4 times 3 is 12, right? Plus 2 would be $14. And I can do that with 4, with 10, and with 50. I multiply it by 4, cost per pizza, right? And then I have to add the delivery charge because regardless of how many pizzas are ordered, They're only charging you $2. It's a pretty good deal. So for this one, I want you to fill it out on your own. All I want to help you with is how to write the formula. Okay, so think of if we're doing the same kind of thing, but now we're raising the cost of each pizza to $5, and the delivery price is $3. So can you fill this out? Before you do, though, what formula could you write? How much is it per pizza? So what are we doing there? Are we adding or multiplying? All right, so we're doing P times 5, or we can just write that as 5P. And then how much are we adding every single time, no matter what? That's right, we're adding the $3 because it's a consistent addition to the cost of the pizzas. So now we can just do 5 times 1 plus 3, 5 times 2 plus 3, 5 times 3 plus 3, 5 times 4 plus 3, so on and so forth.
I hope this was helpful for lesson 21. I think the key is to remember that multiplication is when we're combining equal groups. So anytime you're taking a set amount of things and each one is the same cost, or each thing has the same amount in it, or the same amount of chairs around it, whatever that situation is, when it's equal groups and we're combining them, that's multiplication. When we're just taking a set amount and we're combining it to it, we're adding it to it, you hear the word add in there. That's addition. So that way we know when we should be multiplying in our formulas versus when we should be adding in our formulas. Have a good one.
I love math 'cause it's awesome.